Sex trafficking is a serious and often hidden crime that impacts millions of people worldwide, with countless individuals being forced into harsh realities and into situations that they can't escape. In this documentary, we'll take a closer look at the harsh realities faced by victims, the emotional and physical toll it takes, in the long road to recovery. We'll also explore the efforts being made by organizations, law enforcement, and everyday people to fight this issue and help prevent more people from becoming victims. It's crucial for all of us to understand what sex trafficking really is and how it affects individuals and communities, and what we can all do to make a difference and fight against it.
What is sex trafficking?
Sex trafficking occurs when someone is forced, tricked, or coerced into performing a commercial sex act, and when the person involved is under 18 years old.
A commercial sex act means any type of sexual service such as prostitution, pornography, or sexual performance in exchange for something of value, whether it's money, shelter, food, drugs, or other goods. Domestic minor sex trafficking specifically refers to the exploitation of American children within the U.S. for sexual purposes, often monetary gain or other forms of compensation.
This is also known as child sex slavery, child sex trafficking, or commercial sexual exploitation of children, CSEC. And it highlights the urgent need to protect vulnerable minors for these horrific events. Here are some bullet points and facts about sex trafficking. Traffickers build relationships with their victims before starting to traffic. Traffickers mostly use psychological manipulation to control their victims. Trafficking can happen to anyone, regardless of gender, race, or age. 57% of victims are trafficked in their communities. 44% of victims are trafficked by family members. 38% of victims are trafficked by intimate partners. In this clip, we're here with Officer William Bucknam, who is our school resource officer. Have you ever worked with a student who has been a victim of sex trafficking?
Not sex trafficking, no.
All right, any like human trafficking at all, or no?
No.
What signs or behaviors should educators look for when identifying a student who might be at risk of sex trafficking?
No parent, no contact, no guardians, just totally withdrawn from, your everyday activities here at school, and kind of report that. Same thing, kids sometimes exhibit warnings, either verbally or nonverbal, and those are things that teachers should really be paying attention to, and then try to get them the resources that they need through guidance.
How do you approach helping a student who has been trafficked or is at risk of being trafficked?
So at risk would be a great stop, because then you could, sex trafficking, human trafficking are those that because they want to escape where they're at to go somewhere else, and they're being promised to do something or some job, and they end up getting there and it's nothing what they thought they were, and now they're trapped in that area because they don't know anyone, they have no money, they don't know where they're at, they don't know how to get anywhere. So now they're trapped into that position. So if I was to be able to prevent somebody, I would definitely get a guardian, a family member, or someone to try to get them the resources for them to show them that this is fine where you're at. Now, if there are somebody who is in the middle of human trafficking or sex trafficking, I would have our detective bureau start an investigation on it right away, because if there's one, there's many.
So like, if there's a trafficker, how would you like approach them?
Federal resources. You don't want to scare them away, so at the same time you want to start an investigation. The federal government has many ways of doing that. Every year it gets better through AI, so you're able to get a picture of the person and then throw that in through plenty of databases to see if they travel to an airport, through a train, on a train, off a train. There's a lot of resources that are now coming and tools that we're able to use for human trafficking.
Hey, Jessica?
Hey, are you Brian?
Yeah, the studio's just a block away. Do you want to get going?
You don't really look like your profile picture.
Yeah, that picture's a few years old, but anyway, let's go. Come on.
Sure, yeah.
Ellie Bray is an FBI agent who specializes in human trafficking cases of minors. She has worked with numerous schools and has also written articles regarding awareness and prevention. Due to legal purposes, we were not allowed to record our meeting with her, but we will now get into the questions that we have asked her.
What is an overview of the issue or the current scope of the topic?
It remains more consistent. The change that happens is the way that they get the victim. It's a federal crime, and it's someone that is paying for the sex, and a trafficker may go for people who won't be noticed as missing. They may also go for vulnerable people.
Are there any misconceptions that people have about trafficking?
Movies and shows give people the wrong idea of what actually happens. Kidnapping isn't usually what happens, and it's not always going for people head on.
What triggers an FBI investigation into a potential sex trafficking case?
The FBI starts investigating sex trafficking when they get notified from the public or local law enforcement. They also watch online ads and social media for suspicious activity. Cases that involve multiple states or have large trafficking networks often trigger their involvement. Signs like fake documents or unusual money transfers can also lead to an investigation.
Can you walk us through a typical investigation, from report to rescue?
A sex trafficking investigation typically starts with a missing persons report, followed by surveillance and evidence gathering by specialized law enforcement. Undercover officers may be used to open up more information. Once enough evidence is secured, a coordinated rescue removes victims and arrests traffickers. Survivors receive immediate care, safe housing, and legal support, while traffickers are facing prosecution.
How does the FBI work with other agencies or organizations to support survivors?
Ellie stated that they partner with the Missing Children's Department and social media departments, giving tips from the public, and some programs have tools against advertisement platforms.
What challenges do survivors face even after being rescued?
Many of them are manipulated by their traffickers and have a belief that they are in a relationship with them. This can bring them to have an emotional attachment. Many of the survivors end up in mental hospitals and get other psychological help. A lot of them have trouble coming up with excuses to their friends and families as to where they have been for so long. They also have trouble reforming and getting back out into society and into the public.
What's been the most difficult or impactful case Ellie's worked on?
The most impactful case that Ellie has worked on was actually one of her first cases. It was a group of 3 to 4 girls that have been being trafficked for a long period of time, the youngest being 13. The oldest was 17, and she had been stuck in the situation for several years. The hardest part was seeing how much the situation had an emotional toll on them. Some of them really wanted out, and some of them had an emotional attachment and were defending their traffickers. Some of them ended up in mental hospitals.
How does Ellie personally manage the emotional toll of these cases?
A few years ago, she had to take a break from the job because she realized it was becoming too much for her. She finds that having a good work-life balance is the key to the job. She finds doing things that she enjoys, like going to the gym and hanging out with people, really helps. She always separates her job from her personal life.
How does sex trafficking affect different regions of the world? Sex trafficking affects different regions of the world in unique ways. In North America, the U.S. faces significant trafficking issues, especially in urban centers, with a focus on minors and immigrants. Europe sees Eastern European countries as sources and Western Europe as destinations for victims, with varying legal responses across countries.
In Asia, Southeast Asia, India, and other areas are major sources of traffic victims, with poverty and weak enforcement contributing to the problem. Africa struggles with high trafficking rates due to poverty and political instability, while Latin America faces similar issues, with drug cartels and corruption fueling trafficking. The Middle East is a destination for migrant workers, with women being trafficked for sex work. Across all regions, vulnerable populations like women and children are most at risk, and global cooperation is crucial for combating this issue.
What happened this year regarding sex trafficking? In 2025, National Human Trafficking Awareness Month focused on prevention and survivor support, especially for veterans. A major sting in Scottsdale led to 200 plus arrests and 149 missing persons found. Florida remains a leader in anti-trafficking efforts, with experts calling for better prevention, screening, and data tracking.
What solutions were proposed or implemented? Solutions to combat sex trafficking include stronger laws, public awareness campaigns, victim support services, and international cooperations. Technology is used to track trafficking patterns and assist victims. Efforts also target the demand side by penalizing buyers and holding businesses accountable for their trafficking in their supply chains. How can you bring awareness to sex trafficking? To raise awareness about sex trafficking, you can share information on social media, organize community events or discussions, and support awareness campaigns. Partnering with local organizations, advocating for more social media coverage, and distributing educational material in public spaces can help inform others about the signs and trafficking and how to take action.
How can we as a group combat sex trafficking? You can help combat sex trafficking by raising awareness, supporting organizations that aid survivors, and educating others about the issue. Advocate for stronger anti-trafficking laws, support ethical businesses with transparent supply chains, and report suspicious activity to authorities. Every action counts in making a difference.
Sex trafficking is a horrific crime, but by staying informed and working together, we can help protect those at risk and offer hope to survivors.
If you or someone you know needs help, don't hesitate to reach out. Together, we can fight against trafficking and make our world safer for everyone.